In the United States, people talk a lot about independence, about standing on your own 2 feet. What they don't talk about is what happens when the people who were supposed to catch you step aside and let you fall. My name is Rachel, and I became homeless while living in my parents' house. The irony still stings. The house was a modest 2-story place in a quiet suburban neighborhood. White siding, green lawn, neighbors who waved but never asked questions. It was the same house where I learned to ride a bike, the same kitchen where my mother once told me, no matter what happens, this will always be your home. I believed her. That belief died the same year my husband did. A workplace accident took him in seconds. 1 minute he was texting me about dinner, the next I was sitting in a hospital room listening to words that didn't make sense. Widow. Accident. I'm sorry. I had a 6-year-old daughter named Emily. She had her father's laugh and my stubbornness. She didn't understand death. She only understood absence. After the funeral, my parents insisted we move in temporarily. At first, it felt like safety, warm meals, a roof, familiar walls. But grief makes people uncomfortable, and dependence makes them cruel. Weeks passed, then months. Job applications disappeared into silence. Bills stacked up. Emily asked why I cried in the shower. My parents grew distant. "You need to figure something out," my father said one night without looking at me. "I'm trying." Trying wasn't enough. One afternoon, I came home from a failed interview to find strangers walking through the living room measuring walls. "What's going on?" I asked. My mother folded her arms. "We're renting the house." I laughed because I thought she was joking. She wasn't. My father handed me a typed notice. 30 days. Legal. Cold. "But we live here," I said. "You live here," he corrected. "We own it." Emily sat on the stairs, listening quietly. That night, she asked, "Are we bad, Mommy?" I held her and said no. But inside, something broke. Homelessness doesn't start with sleeping on the street. It starts with carrying your life in bags. On our last day, I packed everything into 2 suitcases and Emily's pink backpack. My parents watched from the doorway like landlords waiting for keys. No hugs, no apologies. A woman behind a desk asked questions without emotion. Reason for homelessness? What do you write when your parents chose profit over you? Emily clutched my hand as we were shown our cots. Thin mattresses, shared space, no privacy. That first night, she whispered, "When do we go home?" I didn't answer. The shelter was loud. Babies crying, women arguing softly, children pretending everything was normal. I learned quickly how homelessness really works in America. You wait, you fill out forms, you prove you're poor enough. Every day became a routine of survival. Wake up early, get Emily ready for school, find a bathroom to wash her face, smile so teachers wouldn't ask questions. I skipped meals so she could eat. I told her I wasn't hungry. At night, when she slept, I cried silently. One day, a shelter volunteer said, "At least you're safe." Safe felt like another word for forgotten. Emily started changing. She stopped talking about friends. She drew pictures of houses with locked doors. One evening, she asked, "Did Grandma stop loving me?" That question nearly destroyed me. Winter came hard. The shelter's heating system failed more than once. Emily caught a fever. I wrapped her in my coat and carried her to an emergency room, praying they wouldn't turn us away. They didn't. The doctor looked at me with quiet understanding. "She needs stability," he said. I almost laughed. That night, sitting beside her hospital bed, I made a decision. I would not let this place define her childhood. Back at the shelter, another resident told me about free job training at a community center. Computers, internet, resume help. I signed up the same day. While Emily did homework, I learned new skills. Online customer service, remote admin work, anything that didn't require an address or a car. Rejections came fast, but I kept going. Late one night, an email arrived. We'd like to offer you a remote position. I stared at the screen for a full minute before believing it. The pay wasn't great, but it was real. We moved out of the shelter into a tiny rented room. One bed, one heater, one door that locked. Emily danced like we had won the lottery. "This is our house," she said. And for the first time, it was true. I worked non-stop. While Emily slept, I worked. While others rested, I learned. Promotions didn't come with celebrations. They came with more responsibility. But slowly, life stabilized. I saved money. I built credit. I planned. 2 years later, I signed a lease for a small apartment. Emily got her own room. She picked purple curtains. She slept through the night without nightmares. One day, my parents called. "We're having trouble," my mother said. "The renters left." I listened quietly. "We thought maybe you could help," my father added. I looked around my apartment, at the life I built from nothing. "No," I said calmly. They didn't argue. They knew. People ask me how I survived. I tell them the truth. I survived because I had no choice, because my daughter was watching, because failure wasn't an option. Home isn't walls. Home isn't ownership. Home is the place where you are not disposable. If you're watching this and you feel abandoned, remember this. Sometimes family doesn't save you. Sometimes survival teaches you how to save yourself. And sometimes losing everything is how you finally build something that no one can take away. If this story touched your heart even a little, please hit the like button. It helps more stories like this reach people who need them. Comment below, do you believe family should always come first? I'm reading every comment.